All right, guys, I drove up here to Michigan. We're heading inside because we're going to take an exclusive look at the guns of John Wick 3. All right, guys, before we get started, I wanted to stop and say that this isn't some mashup that we did with some store-bought guns. These are the actual guns from both John Wick 2 and John Wick 3, as in the actual models that the actors carried with them on set. So to get started, when we think of John Wick 2, we think of this gun right here, which is Keanu's signature Glock 34 TTI. Now, he stuck with some Glock action in the John Wick 3 in his Glock 19X. This is the FDE model, again, the one that he actually used in there. And this is obviously a full-sized Glock 34 done up by Terran Tactical, and the 19X is right between it and the Glock 26 that he used in John Wick 2. So you can see here that he kind of went for a more slicked down version. Keanu did in John Wick 3 in the Glock 19X. Not a whole lot of bells and whistles on that particular gun, and it's kind of like his minor handgun in John Wick 3. Now, if we want to continue on looking at some Glockage here, you can see, again, Keanu's gun. Halle Berry, as in Sophia in the movie, opted for some work with the Glock 34 MOS, and that the main difference between it and a regular Glock 34 here is that we have an RMR cut there that has a Trijicon RMR on top of that. That is that ruggedized miniature reflex sight that we have on top of the gun there. This is a Glock 34 also used by Keanu in John Wick 3. The main difference across all of these guns, same caliber, different capacities, and of course different slide lengths here, giving us a little bit more velocity out of something like the Glock 34 than the Glock 19X. Continuing on with Sophia, Halle not only went with the 34 MOS, but there was another Glock in her arsenal, if you will, which is this Terran Tactical Innovations Glock 19. You can see that they've done some pretty interesting slide work on here with some cuts and some grip work in here. And also, we have a magazine extension here that's also by Terran. The standard capacity of a Glock 19 is 15. I'm assuming this is a +2 base plate on here. At least that would be my guess anyway. But done up with some silvery contrast there. And of course, the one that everybody wanted to play with while we were here, which was the SIG P365, which was, I'm told, this is the exact gun that Halle had in her garter belt the entire movie on set. I don't think so, sir. Moving on to the signature handguns from John Wick 3. If you remember back to John Wick 2, we had the Terran Tactical Innovations Combat Master Glock 34, the long slide, gussied up version of the 34, if you will. Well, it looks like Keanu decided to go with a little bit more metal on set this time. Maybe he could smack around some people with a little bit more rigid of a handgun. And the Terran Tactical Innovations Combat Master 2011 here. So this is a metal framed handgun. It's a 2011, so it's not a 1911, which means it is a double stacked magazine, 17+1, and we do have a Terran base plate on there. But as you can see, there's been some considerable slide work done on this particular firearm, some after factory sights added, and of course some grip work in there, so when you get all sweaty, bloody, and slimy there on set, that you don't lose your purchase on that thing. This is a pretty sweet handgun, I do have to admit. Also, looking a little bit deeper on this gun, if Keanu wanted to put a light on this thing or something like that, he could have very easily attached it to that accessory rail right there. It does have some extra texturing there on the trigger guard, so if he needed to index a finger there. Some serious extension there on that magazine release. You could easily hit that with another hand if you wanted to, or reach right up there and get it with your thumb. And it looks like a stock length safety lever on the side of that thing, but all around a very, very nice handgun. I am very upset that they did not put the live fire barrel in this thing for my visit today, because I would have, of all the handguns on the table, this is the one that I would have liked to take to the range today. So that's enough about handguns. I think we've covered the full breadth of the background on handguns as far as John Wick 2 and now the premiering 3 this week. On to long guns, we're going to talk about shotguns. So if you guys will remember this one from John Wick 2, this is a Benelli M4. This is the Argo, the gas-operated semi-automatic shotgun from John Wick 2. Well, if we compare that to his choice of shotgun in John Wick 3, the Benelli M2, you can see that he went with a little bit more chopped down, slicker version of the 12 gauge shotgun for John Wick 3. Now, if we look at this one, this is an inertia operated gun instead of a gas operated gun. It looks like on the side of the gun here, we have an extended charging handle. That looks to be an after factory thing, probably offered by Terran, and also a Terran bolt release here on the side, so you throw that shell on that shell holder there, right inside there when the gun runs empty, and slap that thing and sends the bolt home, and then you can charge the gun up this way. Terran has also done some aggressive texturing and reprofiling of the body of this gun here back towards the end of the foregrip, all over the foregrip, and of course down here on the culm of the shotgun. Instead of the pistol grip that we saw on the M4, we have a more traditional style stock here with some aggressive texturing and some after factory high-vis sights on the front of this thing, so you can pick up that mass quantity of people when he's throwing double-aught into crowds. Other features that are a little bit more hidden here is we have a weight relief bolt here. You can see that there's a fair amount of milling that's been taken out of the actual bolt of the M2 here. We have a forward Picatinny rail for attachment of lights or anything like that, and clearly we have an extended magazine capacity with this extended tube here, probably all done by Terran. All right, guys, coming in on the home stretch, if you guys remember back to John Wick 2, you could not make a video about the guns of John Wick without talking about the rifles that he used. So this is the TTI TR1 that he used in John Wick 2. This is a 5.56 caliber carbine. It's kind of reminiscent of an AR-15. We can see some of the important features that we have here are some Trijicon optics both here and on that side reliefed red dot right there, and a Trijicon RMR mounted on the offset. We have a forward grip right there. Pretty aggressive comp there, adjustable stock, and of course some Terran internals to make this gun complete. Well, Keanu opted to go from 5.56, loud noise, I can do that, to this SIG MPX and 9mm. So we can see that we have, first off, a long extended magazine here with a Terran base plate on there. Again, this is a 9mm carbine. We have a extra flared mag well to make sure that that thing seats in there really, really easily. You can basically do this blindfolded all day long because that space is so big. You only have to get pretty much close to it, and that's going to home that magazine right in there, make those reloads much, much faster. You can see that we've got some aggressive diamond-like finish here on the front for grippage, so when that thing's all bloody and sweaty and grimy and nasty from rolling around on the floor with some bad guys, that thing's going to be able to get a good purchase on. Rails all over it for attachment of accessories. We get some lasers, some Trijicon MRO on top of that thing, and of course a conversion to a AR style butt stock on that thing, so it can be adjustable wherever you like. It is complete with QD points here for your sling, and all around it looks like this thing has been Terran tacticaled out all the way across with a it does look like a Lancer carbon fiber handguard underneath of that coating that I mentioned earlier. But I am excited to see this particular gun run full blast in John Wick 3. The movie is set to come out, I believe, this Friday. It releases. I know that I'm going to be at the theaters. I hope that you guys are coming from the theater, checking out the guns that you're seeing right here in front of us. Let us know what your favorite gun from the movie was down in the comments section down below. Thanks for joining us here today at the VSO Gun Channel, and hopefully we'll see you guys on a future video.
Lots of guns.